And by the way, side topic, but for your reference, just in case you have a special interest in database. If you include the additional non-necessary table here, you will see additional record because they have the kind of multiplication effect. If you include the additional table, and then the record maybe show up many times. Same record may show up many times because of the third table, unnecessary table. Okay. Okay, information we are going to demonstrate. All managers or users like to see student ID. Let me double check. Yeah. From student table, first name, last name, major, entry date. That's it. This portion is the must or from user's perspective. They may or may not know how do we get this information, but they say, well, I have to find out those information. And also, we need to satisfy certain kind of qualification, not every record from student table. So it says not graduated. So not graduate, easy to specify. And we need to include graduated information, but we are not going to show this, but we can put it here. No, not graduated. But during the construction stage, we show this because we want to use this for cross-reference from developer's perspective. Okay. Now, no. And the other one is course grade information. How many? I have not received any grade, which means have not taken any courses yet. So based on the information we did one time, number 2, we said, well, let's put course ID here and then count. Okay, that matches the hint. We need to turn on totals. We need to turn on totals. Okay. We need to count how many courses the student has taken. And then find out the courses number is 0. So turn on totals and then change this one to count. Okay, we put 0 here. So I'm going to save this first. Save this as a new student. New student. Okay. So if you have already saved, you can test run it to see the results. I'm going to wait the class here a little bit, or I need to do one thing in ascending order by student ID, so I don't forget this one. Student ID in ascending order. Save. So I specified those 3 criteria. And first I turn on totals, and then no change to the other boxes or under other attributes. Only under CRSID in grade table, change that one from group I to count. Explanation goes to 5-2. Basically, we try to find out total courses the student has taken so far. And we are going to show the record in ascending order by student ID. We want to make sure the record shown was not graduated and the total courses shown as 0. Okay, save the work. I'm going to wait here for 10 more seconds. If you have already done, you can test run and tell me what's the result. Ready? Oh, any hands? I don't want to miss anybody. Actually, one nice thing I found by this type of instruction is you can have a clear scene of the screen. Because in the classroom setting, some students like to sit in the back. They may not able to see the screen in the front that clearly, but this is a nice one. That's a nice portion of the online. So, ready? So let's run. I've already saved run. Wait a minute. Is that what you have? So let's go back to the design view. So right now we don't have any record. We don't have any record. Unlikely, or which means no, could be no new student. But actually, wait a minute, I'm the new student. I entered myself, enrolled myself to the university, right, as a student. But I didn't enter any information about myself, which course I've taken, and what grade I've already received. So based on this kind of a criteria, I should show up on this list if everything goes well. Otherwise, most likely managers or users will challenge us. Wait a minute, I'm the new student. Why my information was not here? So seems we have some additional thing to do. Additional thing to do as a diagnostic. Okay. Number one, change the course ID column. Remove this 0 criteria. Remove this one. And save and run it again. Hey, that's good. Okay. By now, by removing that 0 criteria, which means we show all those students the total courses they've already taken, and they are not graduated. That's the information we have so far. For those not graduated students, how many courses they've already taken? One thing, some of you or all of you may have already noticed, your name was not there. Same thing for my case, my name is not here. And also, the number no zeros, which explains why a moment ago by the time we put 0 there, we don't see any record. Okay. Now the question is, what information might have been missing? Now go back to here. Go back to requirement or hint. This one says this criteria, we have not used that yet. We turned on totals. We went through create query design. Only thing on the cheating sheet or the list box, this one we have not been used. Join property choice 2. Okay. Now where it is? It is here. So move the cursor on the top of the line, right click. Sometimes you may need to try a couple of times until you see join properties. Okay. Point to this right click outside, you don't see this one. Only on the line, try a couple of times, right click until you see join properties. Okay, I'm going to wait the class here for 5 seconds until you really get join properties. It seems no question. And choose join properties. Bring up this screen. If you are already here, if you are already here, read the requirement type number 2. What does that mean? Currently, the default is 1. It says, I'm going to show the record. They show up in both tables. Okay? Because for these 2 tables, grade table and the student table, they are joined through the common attribute student SID and STUID. The first one says, I'm going to show the record that student ID showed up in both tables, no matter one time or many times, but as long as they showed up in both tables, I'm going to show. What join 2 says, all the record from student table, no matter whether they have a matching record or not, I'm going to show this. In this case, that's what we need. That's what we need. Third case is for troubleshooting. Third case. In the case you cannot establish a one-to-many relationship, you violate referential integrity. In that case, it means some student ID they are showing in the grade table, but they are not showing in the student table. That's the case. So possibility could be student, you have typo. Student ID, you have typo of the student ID. That's situation number one. Situation number two, the student ID is valid, but the student ID the student has not officially enrolled to the university yet. They are not here. Okay, I have a question. Eventually, I waited for the question. How do we get this one? Go to this line, point to the line, or right click until you see join properties. I guess that's the question. How do you get to the property? How do you get to the join property options? Yeah. I want to make sure I answer the right question. Move the cursor over this line. Right click. Sometimes you may try a couple of times. Sometimes you only see this one if too far away. Have to be on the line. So that's why I said, well, give you some time to find it out. And then until you see this screen, right click. You may need to right click many times, but you have to move as close as to the line as possible. And then you see join properties and then choose this one. Hope you get it. That need a couple of trials. Okay. And okay.
Do we select option 1 or 2?
Yes, we select option number 2.
Okay.
So I'm checking the chat box and checking raise hand. Oh. Okay. So for this project, we choose number 2, and I added a little bit explanation on what kind of situation we have to use for choice number 3. Typical case choice number 1. Okay. Choice number 3, you have a typo of a student ID, or you do have the student ID, valid student ID, but the student ID was not officially registered in the student table yet. So they will not allow you to establish this kind of one-to-many relationship if you have both data sets in place. So in that case, we need to find out which one we are missing, which one is not matching. So we use choice number 3 to establish this kind of relationship and find out our matched record and put that back. Okay. The future story, if you happen to have those kind of situation, use choice number 3. Right now, choice number 2, as we specified in our requirement here. Back to original. Join properties, choice 2. Okay. At least we feel much more comfortable. Yeah, we used this feature as indicated here. So click OK back. Once you made this choice, you see little arrow goes to here, indicating the selection has been successful. Save the work. We made it sounds like a significant progress. So we save the work right away, and test run it again without putting 0 here. The idea is, number 1, whether we can see ourselves on the list. Number 2, whether we will see some zeros other than ourselves. Okay, run it. Any question if I run it? No hands, no question. That's good.
Wait, how do you get the line if it's not there in the first place? Because on my screen, I don't have that.
Okay. You missed that one. You have to establish that one. I guess you missed one operation. We built the line. Okay, we do the student break. Okay, and now we go back to here. And because that's the case, we established the relationship under database tools under here. We established this last week. Okay, we can catch it up during the break time. Okay, now we have this. Now you see ourselves is here, and we see some zeros. 1, 2, 3. Okay. So we feel comfortable to go back to design view and put a 0 here. And save it again and run it. So that will be the result. And you don't have my name, you have your name. Okay? Any question other than the line issue? Because that's a different story, which means we missed one operation. We've already done, but we can catch it up later. Okay, now one tiny additional piece. After this, we verified the record. We can uncheck these two boxes because they don't need to show up on the list, even though they are required to be here as criteria. Because the requirement says only show student ID, first name, last name, major, and entry date. Let's see. Yeah, up to entry date. So uncheck these two boxes, save, and run. So that's the result. Any questions? No. Last one. While we are here, go to upper left corner under view. You click the box, and you see SQL view. SQL view. And you click, you get into here. Copy all the text here. Control C. And you can paste it in a Word file or use Notepad to get the information. Now here, I'm going to use a Word file. Paste it to a Word file. Okay. Copy the information, paste it in a Word file. You can enter your information. -4. That's SQL. SQL statement from Perry 5-4 and save the information as browse and I guess I can put it on the desktop. SQL. 5-4. Okay, save this one. And after that, don't forget to upload this file as well, together with your Microsoft Access file. Okay, now back to here.
What did you see? Bottom of it, you put your last name and then 5-4. I couldn't see, sorry.
Oh. Name SQL from Query 5-4. Okay. And by putting those information here in the future, it will be a good reference as well.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So come back to here. This portion is kind of the working mechanism behind the screens we see here, and also behind the screen, the results we see design. By constructing the design in this way, the system or Microsoft Access will construct a SQL statement in this way.